I'm here in Saratoga Springs at Universal Preservation Hall to get a peek at Beyond My Battles exhibition, Art with Heart and Hope. Follow me.
Beyond My Battle is a nonprofit that helps patients and caregivers cultivate resilience and reduce the stress of any kind of illness or disability. Very much towards the beginning of starting the organization, we realized that A, there was a lot of creative energy, and B, that if we were going to do something about stress management, we had to look towards the arts. So we created the art show. We solicited the artworks from local patients and caregivers. And now in our 4th year, we are having the show at a much bigger venue with many more artists, and it serves as a space for not only sharing the creations of the patients and the caregivers in our community, but also an opportunity for them to share their story. Every artwork is accompanied by the artist's story about how they personally use art to reduce the stress of illness, disability, or caregiving.
The spirit of all of my art is actually to offer a healing way for others. It's first and foremost an act of healing for myself, but by sharing it, I'm able to offer people that as well. I'm a poet, music curator, producer, and host of a monthly podcast called Brian's Poetry Oasis. I'm also a pastel artist, as well as a photographer, and I like to throw in there a father, because that is quite an act of creativity as well. I began writing poetry at the age of 12, and that was in sync with the onset of clinical depression. Of course, I didn't know anything about that or understood what was going on, nor did my family, and back then, there really wasn't even any kind of concept of that or how it might be treated. And I immediately began writing poetry. And that was my way, to this day, to bear witness to and get me through what I'm experiencing. I do pastels. They're right on Post-it notes, beautifully framed in a special way. Well, I came up with the idea that if I had a QR code next to it, I could actually have folks hold their phone over it, and they'd be able to hear my poems set to music. When I'm in a funk and my emotions are stalled, I quickly grow tired of my cheery facade. That's when a love song, a vista, the perfect poem that describes what I feel, release all those tears that have pent up inside.
My story has some simplicity to it, yet a lot of people hear it and it's life-changing. Lupus was systemically attacking my kidneys. It was attacking my brain. I was having brain lesions and full renal failure. I went into the hospital and was there for almost 2 months to save my life. I was also 14 years old, so as a teenager, we can have a couple different responses, and mine was in a super positive way. My life was saved medically, and I went on with things after that. I ended up having an epilepsy diagnosis at age 18 because of the brain damage, and still controlled by medication. Life to me was just pursuing things of success. I became successful in business. I started companies. I was an executive level. In late 2016, seizures returned. I was losing memory, personality was changing, and it was told to me by neurology that a brain surgery was going to be needed to save my life. That was a pivotal moment in life to question everything of what is success and what's my purpose to even live. That right there led to 2 life-saving brain surgeries that removed a peach size of my actual brain. Post-brain surgery, I all of a sudden can paint, write poetry, and have these artistic abilities that I never had before. We all experience some loss and some hurt and some pain, and we can choose to look to the goodness and the grace in our life. Doing things like I now do with Beyond My Battle and leading a watercolor class monthly with people who are truly hurting from the hurts and the pains that these medical disabilities and diagnosis or even caregiving has caused is remarkable. And it's been a gift to me and a gift that I can now give back for.
We use art at Beyond My Battle as a way of managing the stress of illness and disability. We also talk a lot about mindfulness practices and meditation, and I always encourage people that when those things start to feel like a chore, to take a step back or to find a new avenue towards them. If meditation isn't the thing that's serving you in that moment, try gardening or going for a walk and listening to the sounds. If painting is no longer appealing to you, try writing poetry, even if you don't think you're any good at it. These are the things that they're there for us, they're available to us when times get really hard.